Hi, good evening once again. Welcome back to the Bernabeu. So good to have you with us. Team CBS is at the Bernabeu.
You're good.
And hi, how are you? Nice to see you. So too is Jude Bellingham, of course. Welcome to the show once again. We're very happy to have you with us. Good to see you.
Before we start, you know, it's mid-afternoon in America, so if you could watch your language, it'd be nice.
Okay, yeah. Trying to learn me lesson. I mean, to the worst person for that.
How did that game feel for you?
Really good. It was a fun game. I think when you always focus more on the organisation without the ball, we know that with the ball we're going to have the chances to win games, and I think that was the key for us tonight.
Sensational again. How do you keep doing it at your age? I mean, I'm in awe watching you up there. And it's not just the 30, 40-yard ball that you sprayed across the field. It's your energy. It's your work rate to defend and attack as well. How do you do it at your age?
Thank you. I think, I'm young, so I got a lot of energy, so that's the main thing. But playing in a good team gives you confidence. I think you guys know that. I think the manager giving me that freedom to play, how I see it really. And, I'm going to make mistakes, but I think the main thing is that when nights like this come along, that, I put in performances that help the team win the game. And that's
Can I just ask, sorry, what is your best position or your preferred position?
I'm not really sure, to be fair. I think it kind of depends on the way the team's set up. All good? You throw me off it. Did you just get that? No, it depends on the team formation, the way the team want to play. I think here, defending as a left midfielder, rolling inside is nice because you have obviously the freedom when Vinny goes wide as well. So it doesn't really matter to me. I try and give whatever I can in whatever position.
You've had a little thing with, let's say, with Manchester City over the last couple of years. You played in quite a lot. The thing that's really stood out to me, not just the quality of Real Madrid, we know that you've got that, but the physicality right across the pitch against Manchester City. And normally that's the strength of the Premier League teams when they play, maybe a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or Bayern Munich. I mean, how did you feel? Like, did you just look so superior, in the first leg and the second leg?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of the game now, that physical side. I think to play so many games for one and then play against Premier League teams in Europe, you have to be ready physically, you have to be robust, you have to be kind of, different kind of ways of winning games. You have to have them. I think technique will get you so far in these competitions, but you need to be able to run and compete. Can
I just ask you about this stadium? This stadium is magnificent.
Brilliant.
First time I've been here since obviously it's had the revamp. What's it like playing here week in, week out with the crowd, the energy?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it can be a bit of a hotbed of pressure. I think from the outside that's the reputation it gets, that don't not do well because they'll start. But I really don't see it like that, to be honest. I feel like we have enough talented players. We can perform to the levels that, like tonight. You try and block it out as much as you can, but there's moments when they really lift you. I think we didn't particularly need it tonight, but the games like last year when we've come from behind, you wouldn't believe the push they give you, especially when you're down in games. And yeah, it's really impressive. It's a pleasure to play, to be honest.
Jude, I have two questions, but first I wanted to say, I think what Micah was trying to say is that I would second that. I love what you always do for the team. You will put your ego on the side to do what's needed for the team, so I respect that a lot. Having said that, I wanted to talk about two players. Kylian, first, because I do think that now he does understand that position and be patient, and time is run at the right time, and when he does that, we all know that it's clinical. So I wanted to know what you think about that. And please, can you talk about Rodrigo? Because this guy, nobody talks about him, his work rate and his skills, what he does for the team. How is it to play with those two guys?
Firstly, Kylian, I think everyone knows what a special player he is. I think if that start of the season was difficult for him, adjusting for a new team, incredible pressure, unimaginable for most players. And I think it was only a matter of time before he got started, and when the goals came, it was always going to be just a different level of player. The confidence he has, you give him the ball in any situation, he can make something of it. The speed, linking up with Vinny, it's really terrifying for most defenders to play against, I imagine. And Rodrigo, so underrated. I think for me, he's probably the most talented and most gifted player in the squad. I think the things he can do with the football, when we'll be messing around and he'll flick the ball up somehow, and you're like, how do you do that? I mean, I'm trying to do it, twisting up my ankles and everything like that. And it's a pleasure to play with both of them. You put them in positions where they can affect the games and they'll win it for you. I think Rodrigo, another thing to mention is he's the one who kind of sacrificed sacrifices the most, really. I think it's clear that his favourite position is the left. I think it's important to note that, you know, he does a lot for the team as well, defensively on the right side, which isn't his favourite, but never complains, just gets on with it, and that's the way we have to continue, you know.
That's nice to see. No,
yes.
really.
It is, for sure. Round of 16 is obviously next. You've got the draw coming up on Friday. It'll either be Atletico or Leverkusen. Just as like neutrals, I guess, so to speak, a Madrid derby would feel good.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Be a nice atmosphere. Obviously, we dropped points to them both times in the league, so it'd be nice to have that one back. The atmospheres will be incredible here and away from home. But obviously Leverkusen as well, in great form, playing amazing football last season, this season as well, some amazing players. So whoever we get, we've got to be ready. We've got to be bring it like we did today.
Lineup looks fresh.
Oh, I was just about to say that. The lineup is looking crazy.
He's trying to hide
I see they go with a taper. Oh,
What
yeah,
about
the taper
it?
fame.
What about it?
No, mine's looking good. Mine's looking good. Yeah, I just put in the hat today.
Bit dry.
Bit dry, yeah.
Yeah.
Dry. Lot of spray in there as well.
No, there's no spray in there.
Spray.
What do you think about the...
Yeah, it's first.
Jamie chastised me for the look, the shorter look. How you feeling it, Jude?
I like it. You've got a bit of a different head shape, but I think it suits you.
What's that mean?
I think
Basically, got a egghead, is what he's trying to say.
I think it suits you. I think
It suits
you
me.
look sharp, mate. Yeah, really sharp.
Thank you. You know what? Before you go, I know... excuse me, last one.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Have we asked you?
1 year in Italy, just excuse me.
Excuse me. Have we ever asked you who your favourite of the show is? You know, come on.
you can't
We're
cry.
here,
Why
we're
are you
live,
crying?
you know.
Why
are you crying?
I'm cold.
Okay.
I've told him his lineup looks nice. He's tearing up.
It's not cold. Please, before we get
it
into
is a
trouble.
bit.
Who's your favourite on the show?
Could never answer that.
Lord.
I
Could
could never.
never?
No, it's too disrespectful. Obviously, I watch Jamie a lot on the TV, on the other channels and stuff.
Who's that
Big
for?
fan of the overlap. So really enjoy that.
They don't like
About the
Obviously,
rest of his
knowledge
football?
and you, just amazing. So great lineup, and obviously Kate.
She was waiting.
And I was getting nervous.
Well, Jude, I think
Perfect.
we've got to let
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
gonna get
man.
Yes, we do. We do appreciate you coming through.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sensational, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sensational.
Thank you.
Brilliant, mate. Well then.
Take care of yourself.
Is he our favourite guest?
He's unbelievable.
Might just be
We're
our
still
favourite
waiting
guest.
for the
Thank you, though.
celebration.
Appreciate
I know, yeah.
That was good.
The
That was good.
maturity of that man.
Since you always ask everybody, you know, who's your favourite?
Yes.
Is he our favourite so far on the show?
I like Lukaku.
Oh, that day?
Yeah, that
In-
day.
in Milan?
Was really good. I love Jude because he's so open and honest,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he doesn't just give you basic answers as well. I think he's being real. He speaks from the heart. I think he swore on the show as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it last season? And I just love him. I love everything about him. I love the way he's got that energy and that confidence to say, I am the man of this team. What is he, 20, 21 years of age?
Does it make you emotional talking
Yeah.
about
It's
this?
just, honestly,
He's still
wow.
crying.
I'm just cold out here.
Jamie, production are crazy for me to tell you that you haven't quite mastered the man hug. Apparently it looks a bit awkward. I think we want to replay it. Do we? Do we have it? Let's have a look at this. Let's see what's going on.
At the beginning?
Look
Here
at
we
this.
go.
Look.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
like the Key and Peele
It's not the
sketch.
shoulder
Have you
one.
seen the
It's
Key and
just-
Peele sketch?
How Micah did it smooth.
Want me to teach you, Jamie? This is what you do. Put on the mic.
Come on, let's see.
Your hand.
Boom.
And then,
Yep.
yeah.
That one.
That's how you do it, man.
Is it not you? Let's dip in, take a live look at
Lost for words.
Hey everybody, good to have you still with us. We are still here at the Bernabeu, wrapping things up from a day that's been very interesting in the Champions League that is still also ongoing over in Eindhoven in the game between PSV and Juventus. It is still 3-1 on the night for PSV, which makes it 4-3 on aggregate for PSV, which would mean they would go through to the round of 16. Juventus would be out. We're in the second half of extra time. We'll keep you updated on what's happening in that game. We also want to still wrap up the game that was played here between Real Madrid and Manchester City, because we got to see the first goal from Mbappe, but we haven't yet got to see the other two of his hat tricks. So let's do that. Mbappe's second goal. Who wants to take it?
Well, I mean, it was a brilliant finish, wasn't it? I think the build-up you mentioned, didn't you, with Rodrigo,
Yeah.
Thierry, and then just that touch there, coming inside. And you talk about these runs that he makes, but I think Man City left themselves a little bit open here. makes a run to the back post, but it's a composure once he gets in there, just to chop there, and it gets past Guardiola. What a finish, Jamie.
But the great thing is, you look at Mbappe, the front three are all interchanging positions. You know, this is Vinny Jr. now on the right side, Rodrigo's now central, Mbappe's on the left. So when we're talking about the positions of the front three, there had to be a lot more movement. They don't just stay in one position. That was the big thing that really stood out today. But that quick feet is just that's why he's the best.
The pass of Rodrigo. Oof. He started it, finished it. I mean, Mbappe obviously was the guy that had the goal, and he finished well. But Rodrigo on the play was outstanding.
Beautiful night for Mbappe, wasn't it? Let's take a look at the third hat-trick in the Champions League at the Bernabeu, first for his club. Let's take a look.
Hat-trick hero. I mean, it's just so good. I mean, Thierry talked through.
No, I mean, I just wanted to, on a defensive point of view, and we obviously, I don't understand what Nathan Ake is doing, going behind Foden. Like, you allow this guy to go inside. Left foot, right foot, it doesn't matter. Where are you going? What are you anticipating? And what a finish from Kylian. And rightly so, he's on fire, he's confident, and that's an hat-trick for him.
Yes, it is. And since there was a hat-trick, let's do a hat-trick quiz. Why don't we? Because that will be fun, won't it?
Okay.
So that was the 13th hat-trick that was scored in the Champions League for...
13th, you said.
13th, 1-3. 13th hat-trick that was scored in the Champions League for Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. There are 6 players in total.
Ronaldo.
Who have scored those hat-tricks.
Yeah,
Give me the names. Okay.
Ronaldo.
R9?
No, Benzema.
Correct.
Raúl
Correct.
González Blanco, say his name properly.
González Blancos.
And free play tonight.
Higuain.
Ooh. Name him.
Come on.
Vinicius.
Come on,
Yes.
free play tonight.
Mbappe,
Who's gonna
yes.
be?
Mbappe.
Courtois.
Rodrigo. Okay. All right, very good. We got it. Quiz is done. Well
Wow.
done.
What a bad
Thierry
quiz that
wins,
was.
I guess.
No. We found it.
Okay, Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti has spoken, so let's listen into what he had to say after the game.
Must be so happy about so many things, but start with one. What's the thing that makes you the happiest today?
To be qualified. Second, we defended well. Now the third, we played a good football.
You sounded a couple of games ago when you were saying, I didn't know my team could defend like this, or the front four. You sound surprised, but I guess in a Champions League night, you were all but surprised that they worked so hard without the ball.
Yeah, I think I'm really pleased for this, because really difficult to think that with all this quality in front to defend also well. But the sacrifice of the 4 was fantastic in these 2 games. And this is the key, because after that, when you defend well in front, we are really dangerous, because we have so much quality.
And how do you convince them? Do you get upset with them? Do you put them videos? Do you just tell them, come on, guys?
No, simply I called them, and they have to be, and I said to them to be more focused defensively, to help the team to defend and to recover the ball. And they did.
Well, you call them individually?
No, all together, all the 4.
And with the ball, you were outstanding
with
today.
the ball, I don't have, with Mbappe, Vini, Rodri, Bellingham, with the pass from the back of Raúl. So we have a lot of options. We can play, we can be really dangerous in transition. We can play a good ball. We can play 1-against-1 on site. And so a lot of fast with Mbappe, a lot of possibility to attack.
Not to be surprised, I guess, or to be expected. Carlo Ancelotti feeling pretty good about what he saw from his players tonight.
Yeah, and he's just so cool and calm. You know, and I think that's a big strength of his. And I go back to the Champions League final last season, and even though we didn't get the chance to speak to him at the end of the game, I think one of his interviews at the end, we were talking about what he said at half-time. What did he do? Because if you remember, I mean, Borussia Dortmund battered them in the first half, and he just said, everyone just needs to be calm. And I just think he's got an ability here, and he suits this club, because if you remember when Jude Bellingham came over before, he was talking about how hot he can get in here at certain times. And I think he's almost the perfect manager for Real Madrid. He is. He's a completely different manager to Pep Guardiola, and there's no right or wrong way to be a manager, but certain managers suit certain clubs, and I just think there's talk every season of him going. There's talk of who might, replace him in the summer. It just doesn't affect him, and you wouldn't back against them going on to win the double again. A league and a Champions League, because, as I said, when they get to the business end of the season, February, March, they come into their own, and that was not just tonight, but what they did at the Etihad as well, considering the players that they had. They were two top performances then.
Yeah,
They got
they did. Good night for PSG. Good night for PSG. They're through to the round of 16.
Do you know who they play, Kate?
Either Barcelona or Liverpool.
And I think they could be a problem. They could be a problem for one of them.
Liverpool.
Very big one.
Yeah, that's a tough one, huh?
Do you think PSG are capable of winning it? I've been impressed with them against City. Obviously, won very comfortably in a game. You expect it, but
I was waiting to see what that team could be. Getting Kvaratskhelia, I think the balance of having Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Vitinha.
Fabio Ruiz.
It's not a bad team.
Nuno
I
Mendes.
have to. Nuno Mendes.
Hakim.
It's not a bad team at all, and that's going to be a tough one. Whoever's going to play them after. You said Liverpool or Barcelona, right?
Barca, yeah. First and second in the table, that's who they'll get drawn against. Sad though, Micah.
careful.
No more breast this year.
Speak for yourself, Kate.
I will speak, I can definitely assure you. No more breast
wow.
swimming. Yeah. That's a lifetime choice.
Problem.
Let's go to the brackets. Let's go and take a look what's happening then, because as we said, PSG will be Barca or Liverpool. But here's an overall picture of how things can play out. Ooh.
How am I supposed to see that with my eyesight? Could you
So
explain
you could
that
get
to us?
PSG or Benfica. I think we all know who you'd prefer, Jamie.
yeah, prefer to get to Benfica, and then again, a giant would go out, whether it's PSG, Barcelona or Liverpool. I think they are three teams who are capable of going really far in this competition and maybe lifting it. So again, it feels like another big team's going to go out in the next round also.
Anything jump out to you, Micah, that you'd like to see?
Yes. Bayern, Leverkusen, and the Madrid derby. That's what I'd like to see. That'd be tasty.
Very nice.
What about you, Kate? What are you thinking? Madrid derby would be nice, surely.
Madrid
So
derby would be.
is that Arsenal can either get Feyenoord or PSV?
Arsenal.
PSV.
That's a decent draw, isn't it?
Does the bracket confuse anybody else?
What's that?
The bracket, does it feel a bit confusing to No,
No,
okay,
fine to
never
me.
mind, just me. All right, good. We're going to go to a break.
After saying
We'll
all
be
day,
back in just a minute.
Benfica all booked their places in the final 16. Tonight, Borussia Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain in pretty impressive style with a 10-0 aggregate lead over Brest. All booked their place in the knockout rounds as well. PSV Eindhoven are currently the side going through. That game at home to Juventus is currently playing in extra time, and of course Real Madrid are through at the expense of Manchester City. It's the first time in Pep Guardiola's managerial career that he has not progressed to the round of 16 in the Champions League, and this is what the Champions League road to Munich, the final in Germany, is looking like at the moment. And for Real Madrid, it will be either a Madrid derby against Atletico or a trip to Bayer Leverkusen next. Okay, a horrible night for Manchester City then. They go crashing out of the competition that they won in spectacular fashion a couple of years ago. Let's hear from the manager now. Pep Guardiola is with Jules.
Knew it was going to be a difficult task tonight, but after the worst possible start to the game, how did you see it then?
Yeah, we want to extend the position down, goal down as long as possible, so we cannot deal with the physicality and the rhythm they have. So that's why it's a lot of calm with the ball. But after conceding the goal in the first action, we didn't defend well our back, so it's more difficult. Yeah. Accept it. So the best team won. So congratulate Real Madrid, and now focus in our Premier League.
Over the two legs, what particular area do you think you struggled the most with?
There's 180 minutes. We have good half an hour for 35 minutes in the first half. And the rest we struggle, but the game was in the 2-1. We conceded with a mistake in the last two, coming here with a one down and start with an injury from John, and after the action from the first goal was a little bit what happened all the season. It is more difficult, so because with the quality they have, with the 2 goals up front, and after me 3 goals up front, is of course they can do you are, it's easier, and we want to extend the 4 minutes a little bit longer for the result, and everything can happen. But after that was difficult.
And ties like this, you've always said they're won by special moments, by special players. Kylian Mbappe, just an exceptional talent.
Sí, not just him, have a lot of players. So it's a fantastic team. So I just congratulate them. They deserve to go through. We don't deserve. We didn't make a good. It's the first year we didn't make a good Champions League season, and accept it and fight for next season to be here again.
Do Real Madrid look like Champions League winners again to you?
Well, of course, is a contender. Definitely it is. But there are other good teams around. Will be interesting Champions League this season.
And how far away do you feel your team are to winning the Champions League again?
I don't know is the right question. When you are out in that position, so the Champions League, you have to qualify, and after me, all the process. So we were so lucky to be for many years in this competition. We were so satisfied to win it once, arrive at finals another one, and the process we have to accept that right now this season we are not close enough to be there, and we'll see what happens in the future.
What is the objective now, Pep, for the rest of the campaign?
Win Liverpool next game, and qualify for the Champions League next season.
Thanks, Pep.
Okay.
Yeah, look, Pep very sort of gracious there and really kind of saying, well, look, this has already been a difficult season for us, so he sort of didn't expect that much more. He could have hoped for it, but, it's in the context of where City are and the performances and the mental fragility and all the rest, that this isn't wholly unexpected. Now, the question is that they're going to want to be back in the Champions League, and at the moment, top four is in no way guaranteed.
Oh, of course not. They need to show a little bit more consistency, but not the level of consistency that wins you the title. Just a little bit more. There's still inconsistencies in the team they'll be competing against, so it's not over. They're still one of the favourites, if not the favourites, to definitely finishing in the top four. I think that'll be equally a bigger surprise than tonight's result, and then not reaching the last 16. But again, if you look forward into next season, I'm sure they'll be competing and equally as favourite as Liverpool if they go on to win it as well this year.
Given how the season has unravelled for them, is it almost not helpful, but does it take the pressure off of, these consistent games in these big competitions? Does it kind of give them a bit of time to almost gather and find solutions to the problems that we've seen so far this season?
I think the best way to find solutions is in game. You work on things in training, but you find the solutions, and they're only kind of taken out of your makeup in the games under the spotlights. And I think we've played in many teams where things aren't actually going to plan. You want the game to come around quick. You don't want to be sitting there and waiting, having 5-6 days to kind of let it mull over, setting into your head that how negative things are. We're going to really try and get through it. You want a game to come, win the game, play well, and then chip away at build the foundations of confidence back. And I think that's a big key for this team. They've lost a lot of confidence from being a team that have walked around with a huge aura.
But when you talk, because beforehand you said that, this team have been under so much pressure physically and mentally as well. Is that not a factor that kind of just can give them a bit of breathing space?
The mentality aspect of it you may benefit from that, but you're not going to know until you go into the next season and how you physically and mentally feel. So, yeah, there's a physical element that's still there. They still have to play the games. They're still going to have to train. So that probably they won't benefit from that just of yet. But in terms of the mentality, what it takes, Rio knows better than me, to stay at that level and maintain the level that is unprecedented that we've seen. It takes its toll. And I think if you asked any City fan, they could give you 1 out of 10 seasons like this, but the rest of them you're going to be competing for every honour possible, winning 4 in a row. You'd take it.
Yeah. But recruitment plays a big part in that. If you have recruitment, then players come in and refresh the jaded figures and reignite that kind of burning fire inside them. So they need to find them players to come in and do that as well.
Okay. The fire has kind of gone out of Manchester City's season in the Champions League for now, but it still glowing brightly for Real Madrid. What a performance this evening. We can hear from their manager now. Carlo Ancelotti is speaking to Jules.
Carlo. Massive congratulations. Even with the lead from the first leg, you knew your team had to perform at the highest level to beat Manchester City. What did you like most about the performance?
I think that we were a compact team, all defensively. Our goal is to be good defensively. We have a lot of quality in front, and not always we are able to defend as a block. And in these 2 games we were able to do this, and after that, when we have this basement, after that the quality goes out.
It was the perfect start to the game as well. Were you able to relax at that point after Mbappe's early goal, so you had the 2-goal cushion?
No, I don't think so. Not me, for sure, because you never know in football. Every little detail you can change the dynamic of the game, and we are able to control well the game. We scored the second, the third, but we were always in the game, as I said, above all defensively.
Mbappe's first Champions League hat-trick for Real Madrid, but his third in this competition. How special a player is he to add to the list of superstars you already have?
Yes, fantastic player. As I said, we have a lot of quality in front. Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, when they are able to connect, Bellingham, when they are able to connect together, we are really dangerous. And that happened in these 2 games. He had a lot of opportunity. I think against a really good team, in my opinion, because City still is a good team. But in front, we are really dangerous.
And you talked about needing to defend well across the 2 legs. Are you surprised, though, that City didn't test you more tonight?
Yeah, not a little bit, because it takes a lot of time to defend as a block. We spend a lot of time, and I think that at the right moment, I think the players understood that to work collectively in defense.
Up next then in the round of 16, Atletico Madrid or Bayer Leverkusen, a derby, or last year's Bundesliga invincibles? What would you prefer?
Oh, I don't know. Really, I don't know. Now, what I prefer now to have a rest tomorrow. That's it.
Carlo, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good old Carlo Ancelotti is brilliant, isn't he? Look, he talks a little bit about Kylian Mbappe there, what a special player he is. How much better are they? I mean, it sounds crazy given that he scored a hat-trick today, but given the team that they had last season and they still won the Champions League then, that plus Kylian Mbappe, how much more ruthless does it make them?
A lot more. I think they were able to put performances like this, score a different type of goal, playing a different style. You kind of can associate Real Madrid with playing on a counter-attack, but now they have that threat. Anyone that wants to play a high line is asking for trouble. The ability for him to fret and then create opportunities on his own 1v1, so they're a different type of animal now.
Are they the favourites now, Real Madrid?
I think them and Liverpool. I think Liverpool are a team, they look formidable at the moment, and they have players equally as devastating up front in terms of Mo Salah, who can finish a game and win it on his own. So I'd like to see that as a game. So it remains to be seen if they can get through and get each other.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The draw for the round of 16 is on Friday. The highlight show follows us, so you can relive all the Champions League midweek action. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, a consolation goal at the end, but the merest consolation, Karen. That's a chastening couple of nights, isn't it? In a season that's been anywhere near what we thought.
No, I mean, we always knew it was going to be difficult to keep maintaining the standards that City have had over the last number of years, but I guess it's the absolute drop-off. I said it yesterday, and I felt it was always going to be really difficult for City to go there and get that result. And Real Madrid just blew them away. The physicality, the athleticism of them, the clinical edge of them, the near enough matching possession as well, which usually you used to see City over-dominate, control games, just don't do it anymore, and the drop-off has been really dramatic.
In that sense, did we learn anything new tonight or last week?
No. I mean, I've been there. When you go to the Bernabeu, you need a result. It's a bad place to go when you're lacking in confidence and you're missing a lot of key players as well. Obviously, no Erling Haaland. If he would have played, maybe gives you half a chance because you could get 1 or 2. But De Bruyne was on the bench. I think the injuries, lack of physicality, as Karen mentioned. Obviously, recruitment was a big one. I think in the summer, and I think because Pep has been such a genius, the club probably thought he could find a solution to some of the issues and put something together. But even Pep can't. I think with a lot of these players just gotten old relatively quickly before our eyes, and I think they've achieved so much. They deserve so much praise, and the club were very loyal to them. But now it just needs a refresh. Obviously, they started in January, but it's going to take a little bit of time. I think they need some younger players to take the next step. But to go to Real Madrid and expect to win with the amount of issues that they had and the form that they have was pretty close to impossible.
We'll pick it apart as best we can after we get the view from Madrid. Pitch side there for us tonight, Rio Ferdinand, Jolyon Lescott, a former City player, of course, alongside Rashmin Chowdhury.
Matt, thank you very much indeed. Wow, we've had such a treat here, haven't we? A Kylian Mbappe hat-trick, and what a hat-trick it was. But for Manchester City, Jolyon, Rio, how damaging was that?
Yeah, I think the manner in which they got beat today, I think would be the alarming thing. I think we've always been accustomed to seeing a Pep Guardiola Man City team dominate games, maintain control of football matches and really punish teams and strangle teams. Today they were on the receiving end, and it was the first time I've seen a Pep team at Man City look like they were kind of like looking to tap out and wanting to see the final whistle quicker than the other team. So yeah, I think there's lots to work on and lots to build now with in terms of confidence with this Man City team, but you have to give it the credit to Real Madrid. They were magnificent today in every department of football, whether it's without the ball, chasing teams, doing the dirty hard yards, or with the exquisite finishing and approach play of the attacking players in this Real Madrid team.
Could have been so different, Jolyon, because last week, up until the 85th minute, they were 2-1 up. They could have come here with a lead. They let it slip. And that's really symptomatic of just how Manchester City have been playing all season. It's that mentality that seems to have dropped to such an alarming degree. How do they find their way back from that and sort of salvage something in the rest of the season?
Again, obviously, it's backs against the walls now, and there's not much to play for in terms of the ambitions at the start of the season. But again, it's no disgrace to lose here, to lose to Real Madrid. But like Rio said, the manner of that defeat was slightly more alarming. The fact they didn't dominate possession, even when they lose, they still outplay and outpass and like sustain attacks and sustain possession, but that wasn't the case tonight. And we know Man City aren't great without the ball. It's the weaker side of their game, and for long periods Madrid controlled that. And again, I don't remember a team, even when they've won against Man City or beaten Man City, the home fans are laying and just being comfortable in possession, and that was probably the alarming thing for me.
Yeah, and now I guess it's just the FA Cup they've got to play for. They've got to go for it, even if, you know, when they set out their objectives at the beginning of the season, that really wouldn't have been at the top of it.
Yeah, I think the mindset will always be a football club that's built and used to success is that any trophy we can get our hands on, it will salvage a season and take it from a total catastrophe to something they can draw positive from. So I'm sure that will be the aim for the Man City team.
Doesn't get any easier for Pep, does it? Because he's got Liverpool at the weekend, so that should be very interesting indeed. Thanks, guys. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, all three. Let's offer some flowers first to Kylian Mbappe, who didn't start like a house on fire at his new home, but 28 for the season. So much for a tough time, eh?
Yeah, what do we all know? It was just it was just about settling in for him, wasn't it? And everyone else settling in with him.
Yes.
And kind of accepting this is what he brings, this is where he's going to be best at. And everyone's really connected. But I actually think the reason why they're all successful is because they've all established when they haven't got the ball. You know, I think Ancelotti said that success with his team is how we work off the ball. And I think their all team have figured that out going forward, and Mbappe and all the rest of the players, that speaks for themselves. They're sensational going forward. But it was always, for me, the defensive stuff that they've really improved on.
And hat-trick tonight, obviously 21 career hat-tricks. And they kind of got almost better as they went tonight. You can see the confidence oozing through him now.
Yeah, I mean, the first one's amazing. The one thing you would say is, for City, look, no pressure on the ball. Senzo's a brilliant passer. You can't give Kylian Mbappe that space. Runs him behind and just brilliant awareness. Checks your shoulder, knows where Edison is, the lob over the top, and then you finish already if you're City. Early on in the game, confidence goes down, Mbappe's confidence goes up. And then again here, you know, the centre-backs, everybody gets too far over. And once Mbappe gets in this position, that's naughty. That to take that little decision there and do that to Vardy, that just shows you the confidence that he has that he didn't have at the start of the season. But
this one,
he's a special player. He's got pitches. He knows he's going to come inside. He's going to side that. But again, no pressure on the ball for City. When they were at their absolute best, good with the ball. But without the ball, they got it back in a few seconds. But they didn't have that. And obviously, when Mbappe in that form is a problem for anyone.
I mean, that's 13 defeats for the season. For City. Pep's never had that many in his whole career. So how big is this rebuild? Owen talked about they did some recruitment in January that hopefully will bear fruit in time, but there'll be a lot more to do in the summer. We assume he's taking
Well, I think
control of that?
Well, the January signings were at necessity, really, and they overpaid for those players, and we've seen already that they've not been quite ready. And that will take time, and that might come next season or even time after that, because it's not easy to go into City and be good to go and be ready. There's very few that do it. So there's a lot of work to do. There's probably half the squad need replacing.
Wow.
For me, anyway. So there's a lot of work. But I think the big question is how much energy has Pep got to do that?
Yes.
Because if the leader isn't motivated, I'm sure he is, but if he hasn't got the energy to rebuild, then I think there's also bigger problems for City.
He signed a contract, he says he's got the energy, but he's never been in this situation before.
No, and it is tricky because I think all of a sudden a lot of these players have aged at a similar time. You know, we've seen the brilliance of De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva and Gundogan and John Stones and Kyle Walker, and all of a sudden everybody's kind of got to a point kind of together, and you just wonder if maybe they can find a way to get it back, or maybe they bring in some younger players. But I do think it's normal for clubs to be very loyal, especially when these guys have won so much. But it just feels like maybe they just left it one window too long, and this was inevitable. And I think they deserve a lot of praise for what they've been able to achieve. But, you know, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens to everybody. And I think they'll use this season as a learning one. And I'm sure next season they'll be a lot better, a lot younger, a lot more dynamic, and a lot more physical.
Yeah.